Hello there, Ray here, and what I have here is a simple yet very useful item elevator that is 100% lossless and overcomes a lot of problems that I've seen in the past. Item elevators are a way to transport items by having the items go into these bubble columns. This is an ascending bubble column, which any entities inside of it will be pushed upwards. And these systems are very common in different types of farms where you have items coming into a system, but you want to transport them upwards into usually like a storage system where you can sort out the items. You can use these for any type of circumstance where you want to move items. Now to build this up, what you want to have is soul sand, some type of block, ways to make water, like water buckets or ice, slab as well as one ice. The lowest part is going to be the soul sand, which is the part that makes the water bubbly and sends it upwards. And this is where you'll have your tube. You can make this any height you want, it doesn't really matter. You just want to extend this glass as high as you want. And this is where you're going to fill in the center with water sources. But before you do that, you're going to poke a couple holes in the side. So this side is going to be where the items come in, and you want there to be ice here, that one ice piece that you have. And you want to stop the water from going out of this hole, so we just put a slab here. And this hole is where the water will go out and recirculate any items that happen to escape. I'll talk more about that in a little bit, but what you want to do is give a spot for the water to go out of. You want to have 3 blocks this direction, and then just bring it back around to the center. And this is just a straightaway away from this ice piece here. And then you can put in your walls to keep the water from escaping. Then you want to have 5 blocks away from the ice where you're going to put in your source. So I'm just going to contain it. So that's going to be your source water. It's going to flow this way. Then you can come into the center here and fill up every single level worth of water. So make sure you put water every single one, otherwise it's not going to work properly. All the way to the very top, however, how you want this to go. Now you can tell that you've done it right. If the water is making this type of current, where it's going this direction, then going this way, then going back towards the slab over here. Now you go ahead and test it. If you put items over here, they should go underneath of the slab, and then they'll slide on this ice, and slide over here to the bubble columns, which will push them upwards to the very top. Now the reason that we have the soul sand down low and instead of having the soul sand directly at the same wide level as the ice is because there is a weird bug where items can actually be sitting directly on the soul sand and not get pushed upwards by the ascending bubble column. So to avoid that problem, we just go ahead and let the items fall down a little bit, and just make sure they don't get stuck. Now make sure you always have water sources on every single level. So I just destroy that one there, so make sure you replace it. That will make the water turn bubbly again. Now there is some tricks that you can use to fill this in with water sources, starting out with a single source. And let's go ahead and just do this in survival. What you want to do is just place the source at the very top. So I'll just place some water up there, and then what you want to do is come in with kelp. You want to place kelp onto a block that it grows on. So you can't place it directly onto the soul sand. You can swap this out with gravel, which it can grow on, and then just come in and place in your kelp and do it the entire height of it. And that just converted all that flowing water into water sources. Then you can come ahead and remove the kelp as well as the gravel and replace in your soul sand once again. There, now you got a water source all the way up to the very top. You can see how the kelp is getting pushed upwards. Now if you have an ice farm, you might like this method better, which is just stack the whole thing up with ice and then make sure to break it from the top downwards. And you can do it with your hands, but you'll probably run out of oxygen, so you'll probably want to come in with a pickaxe. But by doing this, every time you go downwards, you are creating water sources. And once you got all the ice broken, it will convert over into the water bubble columns, and then it will be working. There you go, you can see converted over. And now the ascending bubble columns are working correctly. Now this extra device on the side here is to overcome some problems which will occur with item elevators if you don't have a place for the stuck items to escape. So let's say this was closed off and you had some items going through here. There's a chance for the items to get stuck on the very, very edge between this ice as well as this soul sand. So I went ahead and put an item in here so you kind of see what could occur if you didn't have the extra water stream. So items will come across and they will slide on the ice, but what they'll do is if you have a couple items coming through, some items will be over here and some items will still be sliding across the ice. And if there is 2 items that are kind of close to each other, the game will try to merge them together to make one stack. And when it merges the items, there is a chance that the items are put into a different location. And when that happens, they can lose their momentum. So any speed that they had going towards the water would be lost and they get stuck sitting right just like this. And if you have some more items coming in, let's say we drop some more soul sand in there, you'll see that they'll go ahead and stack up together with the ones that are already stuck there. So it's not a good thing to have because your items will just sit there until they despawn. Now a little trick that Grandma Mommy showed me is if you have a hole on one side, the water from this slice will try to move over towards this hole and will actually pull the items out. So if I break this glass here, you'll see the water trying to flow over here and the items will be able to leave and go up into the item elevator. But with this hole here, there comes another problem. When items go through, they can sometimes end up going straight out the hole. So I was able to avoid this problem by having the hole off to the side here. So if there is an item, let's see if I get an item stuck in there like that. And by having a hole right over here, let's open this all up. You can see that the item will get pulled off the edge and will get pulled over here into this water stream, which will send it this direction, then over here, and then back over here, and they'll get a new attempt at going inside of the item elevator. So here's a little different angle of the item getting stuck, and then I will open up the side, and you'll see how the item can get pulled to the side and then pulled around and then pushed back in again, and then it can be sent off the item elevator into whatever destination you want to take it. So you can see how it's important to have this extra little piece. Now the water source over here needs to be about this far away from it. If you move it like closer, you can see how it changes the water current over here. So now this one's going straight on, this one's going straight that direction. And if you would happen to make it farther, I'll go ahead and extend this. You can see that it's going to end up changing the current again. So now you can see this water stream goes straight into the side of this. So you don't want it either of those. You want to make sure you have your water source right here. Now you can extend this by doing a similar thing as over there by having a slab on top and then having an ice block underneath. And then you can continue your water source using whichever type of block you like to. I'm just using glass so you can see. But then you can put your new water source over here and just remove that one. And now the system can be lengthened to whatever distance you want, and items will be able to go underneath of each of these and into the item elevator. Now to get items out, it's pretty simple as well. What you want to do is just make an area where your items want to go, and then make a little canal. Let's say you have a hopper as well as a chest over here that you want your items to go into. Let's say you want your hopper to be right here, and then you want your chest to be down here. All you have to do is make your canal go over to on top of the hopper, and make sure you also block the top of your water source so the items don't go flying all about. Then when you remove this block, you'll see the water source over here will continue flowing out this direction and go on top of your hopper. So then any items that you place down here will be sent into the item elevator, launched upwards, and then put into your hopper, and you can find them in your chest over here. If you guys would like to look at this in more detail, I always provide the world downloads to my builds down in the description. Make sure to go ahead and leave this video with a like, as well as share this with whoever plays Minecraft that you know, so that they never run into a problem with their items despawning and getting stuck. I would like to thank you guys for watching, and bye-bye.